Hey, all you cool cats and fine felines. It's Leah and
Lynn.
And today we're in this Memphis, Tennessee at the Mississippi River.
We're on the banks of the Mississippi.
Yeah, so follow us. And Lynn, what are we going to do?
Get into the grace.
We're here today in Memphis to talk about a local legend, a musical icon all over the world, and an inspiration to so many artists today, Jeff Buckley.
Roll 9.
My main influences are...
My main musical influences?
Wilfred.
Love, anger, depression, joy, and dreams. And Zeppelin. Totally.
Is there something?
Okay, so Jeff Buckley used to live here. It looks like a little dollhouse, doesn't it?
It does, and it's crazy. The one beside it's purple.
I know. And the ones
It's a
across the
purple
street,
house.
look, they're all like little doll houses,
They
like
all
little
look-
shotgun houses.
They are little spec houses or something.
So Jeff Buckley was born in November 17th of 1966 in Anaheim, California. He was born Scott Moorhead.
Moorhead. Let's do it again.
He was born Scott Moorhead. And his mom raised him around music. His first album was Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. Like, he was raised on Kiss and rock and roll. And when he was 6 years old, his mom first played him a song by someone the name of Tim Buckley. And he found out that was his dad. And he was hearing his dad for the first time.
Through a record.
So 2 years later, when he was 8 years old, he was asking his mom, please, can I go meet my dad? And so she took him to one of his shows, and he watched his dad and was like mesmerized. And from that moment on, he went from being Scott Moorhead to Jeff Buckley. So his mom, like, he told his mom that he really, really wanted a guitar, so she pulled together a whole bunch of money and bought him a Les Paul.
They didn't just buy him a guitar. They bought him a Les. They all saved up a lot of money and bought him a Les Paul for his first guitar. That's pretty
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah. And so then he started, like, he didn't want to sing like his dad. He wanted to be
A guitar god.
right.
That's
the exact words he said.
Yeah,
so Jeff Buckley, he just became like a session guitarist and played with a lot of local bands like Group Therapy, and like they moved around a whole lot, so he became like a really good judge of character. And he said that he basically described his like childhood as rootless trailer park is what he said. But anyway, after he got focused and started playing guitar, he moved to New York. And that's where he really, really flourished and became what everybody knows him as today. As Jeff Buckley, he started singing, and
because he attended that tribute.
yes, the guitarist for his dad's old band asked him to be on a tribute album, right? And they played at this St. Anne's Church, and the guitarist for Captain Beefheart played one of Tim Buckley's songs with Jeff, and Gary Lucas was his name. And he said, like, when he heard Jeff, like, he'd been looking for somebody like that for a long time. And they started playing together in a band called Gods and Monsters. And then he started playing at this local club called Shanae, and he would wash dishes and serve coffee and then get up and play. Well, that turned into like little fish to big fish coming to see him. Like Clive Davis would come see him. And then before we knew it, he had recording contract with Columbia Records.
He had a 3-album deal for $1 million.
That's right. Who else was signed to Columbia?
all of his heroes were signed to Columbia. Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
So he thought that was a really big deal to him. He thought that was amazing to be signed to that.
Yeah, and so he went into the studio in Woodstock, New York, and made Grace, and that was his first studio album, and it garnered so much buzz and respect. He was on the cover of Rolling Stone. I mean, it was amazing. And like Lynn said earlier, his cover of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen on that album is
amazing.
It is. And Last Goodbye, oh my gosh, it'll just
tear-jerking.
Yes. And so after that, and they toured the world to support it, and they gained so many fans, he decided that he wanted to move to Memphis, Tennessee for his next album. And that's when he bought this house right here. And they are currently fixing it up, and you're going to be able to rent it and stay here. It's an Airbnb.
They're fixing it up to be an Airbnb. We just talked to this guy, and he actually knew about it.
I know, that's awesome. Like right there, you can see there's a church pew in there.
And there's it looks like a piano over here in this window.
Yes, yes, a stand-up. It looks like an organ. You can see the buttons on it. Yes. And in the backyard, there's a little replica house that looks just like it. It's like a little mini, it's like a dollhouse of a dollhouse. And while Jeff Buckley was living in Memphis, he recorded at Easley McCain Studios in Memphis. And he also played a lot at this bar called Baristas, and it was located in downtown Memphis underneath a parking garage. It was just a little bitty place. Sonic Youth performed there, and System of a Down performed there. Mudhoney performed there. But Jeff Buckley was kind of a staple there when he lived in Memphis. Along with Jeff Buckley, Easley McCain Studios, they had a lot of very popular musicians record there. Although it burnt down in 2005, it was restored, and people are still recording there as of 2019. The White Stripes also recorded there, along with a lot of other bands. Yeah, well, while he lived here, he really put down roots here, and that'll lead us to our next location. And here we are at our next location. And not only did Jeff Buckley love music, but he loved animals. And he would come here to the butterfly.
Yeah, he wanted to get a job at the butterfly.
Yeah, he wanted to be the manager at the butterfly exhibit. And there is a plaque in here in honor of Jeff Buckley, and we're going to go see it right now. This is cat country.
Ooh, this kitty cat's name's Thambo.
Look at those little babies. Look at that kitty cat likes us. We're a little amuse bouche. Hey, meow.
Look at that.
There it is. There's two right there. There's one of them. That's it. This beautiful tiger. He would sit here. He'd sit right here.
Supposedly one of these tigers is named after him. They named the tiger Jeffrey in honor of him, but it doesn't. We haven't found anything about it.
I'm so glad we found it.
I am too. Can you imagine them sitting here just watching the tigers all day?
With the pretty white puffy clouds today.
Buckley and a friend was out here, and Jeff, fully clothed with his boots on and everything, decided to walk out into the river.
See, him and his friend, they were waiting on his band to arrive so they can continue recording Jeff's new album, My Sweetheart the Drunk. They had the radio with them. Some Led Zeppelin was playing. And he was floating in the river singing A Whole Lot of Love.
Yeah, that would have been a fabulous last memory where he was out there singing A Whole Lot of Love. Well, a boat came by, and whenever the boat came by, of course, it created a wake. And his friend wanted to get the radio out of the way so the waves that were coming up wouldn't ruin the radio. Well, he turned around after he got the radio out of the way, and the waves had taken Jeff and he couldn't find him.
And so for 10 minutes, he looked and called out to him. He was in a panic. And he never came back up, and so the police
He called the cops.
The helicopters were out looking for him until dark.
They looked for him and looked for him with helicopters and everything, and nothing. No one could find him. But
never find him. Then on June 4th,
on down the river,
a passenger on a riverboat spotted his body caught in some branches on the side of the river. And
so they called authorities. They identified the body, and that was the body of Jeff Buckley.
His friends and his mom, even after they were told he was gone, they just couldn't believe it. Like, it was so unreal at age 30 that he could just be gone just like that, especially in the prime of his music career, prime of his life. He loved it here in Memphis.
Yeah, it was his sanctuary, and a lot of people didn't believe it because he often disappeared for days and days at a time without anyone. So everyone just thought that that's what he had done, that he had disappeared. But
right, and then he popped back up at any time.
But
so
he didn't.
Right. And so he was gone, but he's never gone. Like, whenever you put in an album, Grace or Live at Shanae,
or you watch this video.
Yeah, or somebody discovers him for the first time. He'll live on forever. He was a musical icon.
He was, like, chances are your favorite guitarist was Jeff Buckley was his favorite guitarist.
Like Jimmy Page. David Bowie said that Grace would be one of the top 10 albums if he was stranded on an island somewhere. That would be the album he would take with him. I mean, if David Bowie's taking your album, that's on another level. And Jeff Buckley wasn't just a wonderful singer. He was a skilled and amazing guitarist.
Absolutely, and that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be known as a guitar god. He didn't really want to be a front man. But if you ever have the chance to listen to his cover of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen,
oh my gosh, it'll change your life.
It is definitely something you need to do.
It'll make the hairs on your arms stand up, and it will change you. It's gorgeous. After Jeff Buckley's body was retrieved from the water, they took his body back to New York, and he was cremated, and they had a service for him in the same church, St. Anne's Church, that first performed one of his dad's songs. Now, Jeff Buckley actually died on like a tributary, an offshoot of the Mississippi, the Wolf River. It's also referred to as the Ghost River. And there was a bench down here that had a plaque. I'll post a picture of it. It was donated to Jeff Buckley, but either it was washed away,
or it's under mud.
Yeah, or it's under mud, or it was removed. So we did look for it.
How'd you want to be remembered? As a good friend. I don't really need to be remembered. I hope the music's remembered.
Okay, so thank you for following us today on this little adventure, I don't want to say.
I hope maybe a learning experience if we introduce you to Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, it was a like scavenger hunt for his last year of his life, finding all these places.
Last couple of months.
That meant so much to him.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, what do you think our viewers should do?
Hit the like button if you were informed by this video and learned about Jeff Buckley, or even like us, or like the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to Atomic Hive. And if you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when we upload those new videos.
That's right. And we do that every weekend. So until then, rest in peace, Jeff Buckley, and
stay groovy.